Ooh, I'd better hurry up. Didn't realise it was not far from 5 o'clock. I just made a 2-hour monologue audio, which will go onto Substack. Look, if I actually had anybody paying buymeacoffee.com or whatever the fuck it's called, link on ralphskism.com, I would actually turn my 2-hour monologue. It takes about, I don't know, it takes about half an hour at least, using, see, I got so many the last 3 or 4 months I've had so many readers on ralphskism.com. I don't know why, I don't know where they've come from, don't know who they are. I so don't care. I haven't analysed anything. I haven't even looked. I mean, some days it's actually on average 2,000-3,000. I haven't even bothered to look via analytics what country they're from. And I don't think it is some kind of weird bot, because some days it really drops, but only very temporarily. I don't know what's happened the last week or two. Anyway, yeah, it would take at least half an hour, if not an hour, plugged in using, I could even run adverts on ralphskism.com, but I'm so pure, unlike Oracle Girl. You should look at Oracle Girl. Okay. Wouldn't even think. It never even occurred to me. I could put adverts, or I could allow adverts or monetization of ralphskism.com, which is based on a Google-owned blogspot site. They're okay. And you can allow adverts. Oh, I'm pure. You know, what was I going to say? Yeah, it would take about an hour to... this is not paid promotion. There's that one little program. I mean, I strip all apps out of everything. I'm such a purist. But there's one that's quite good. What's it called? Oh, I forget. But as soon as they start to say, well, it's got AI in it, don't trust anything. Well, it's not like that. It just uses even more power. It would take an hour for me to turn my 2-hour monologue into something that can be audio only on YouTube, where you have to mix the audio with some photographs. It takes quite a lot of power to do that. But I can't afford to go and sit at a cafe for an hour with my laptop plugged in. Anyway, within this audio that I've just made is like some really good perceptive analysis of an interesting development in society in respect of knowledge. I mean, it's just possible that in 1,000 years, and I've got to think of a word. I never plan anything, but I've got to think of a word that could be used to describe this phenomenon. I mean, I'm such a thicko. I can never remember if it's phenomenon or phenomenema. But anyway, yeah, I think this is pretty wise. It could be like really go down in history as like almost like Plato stuff. But why do people read my Ralphskism, not go and listen to the Substack stuff very much? Some videos have 300 or 400 people have clicked on them, most of them 10 of them. Well, everything I do is merely as bizarre, obtuse, recalcitrant, entitled performance art thing for nearly 3 years now. It was only ever for one person. And I've got all these other people that have bloody well harassingly put their nose in. 500 subscribers. I've no idea who any of them is. Any of them are. Anyway, why have I even turned this on? Yeah, there's something really quite... It's deliberately not super intellectual. It's actually quite wise. You could be missing out on listening to the birth of something that could even go just an itsy witsy bit down in history. You'll have to listen to it on Substack or pay some money for a fucking coffee in one of these. I mean, the whole of the Southwest is just a holiday, a theme park. And coffees, I should imagine, cost a £5. And to me, anyway, waffle. The end. That's why I'm going to call it the end, because it really is the end. Except I've got about 2,000 little snippets just to put in that I've had to jump over, because it takes so much time to put in bits of video. I mean, some of them probably are much more groovy, potentially viral, than anything I've put up so far. I don't know, because I just have to quickly move a chunk of a few days that I've put onto my camera, onto my laptop, and then quickly, just randomly select a few things, usually this is, to just scatter them onto YouTube. I'm sure there's a wonderfully intellectual theme and thrilling smiliness that would come through if the full version was there, and I'm deliberately saying that because nobody would ever want to watch them all. It's all absurdist. Everything's absurdist. I just respond to the absurdist behaviour I've encountered in nearly everybody for pretty much a decade. That's all I'm up to. I don't care if anybody else watches it. I mean, Marina Abramovich did a performance art thing where she and her, fair dinkum. I can't stand her. She's just so obviously not that bright. And talk about her. Rather chubby 70-year-old woman trying to make herself look like she's still 40. But yeah, she did a performance art thing with her bloke where they went on a 3,000-mile walk of the China Wall or something like that, and I think they were going to get married, but the conclusion of the performance art was they ended up splitting up. I mean, Marina Abramovich is just too dull to have any opinions about the consumers of her art. I'm much more vicious. I know the consumers of anything in this awful society are all so dull that they deserve to be irritated with absurdist nothings. Except there might be some keys to life hidden in my... Well, I know there are, that's the whole point. I know what the keys to actually surviving are, that nobody else, not Eckhart Tolle, not all of them, it's all self. Anyway, shut up me. But I know they're all wrong, because I know for 15 years I've persisted is the right word, not processed, not done some processing, but not being resilient, not lent in, no, persisted, persist. The end. And I do know that I have a really great I mean, I know I've got more bounce, more persistence in me than anybody else I meet, ever. So, if I did want to sell it, if I could put it into a bottle, which I kind of could, you'd probably want to buy it. But you've all been brainwashed to... You only respond to... Well, you're a bit behind the times, because I actually laughed this week properly. There's a little book I encountered really attacking toxic positivity. Now, I don't use phrases like that, but yeah, there's something gone wrong where it's compulsory to say, oh, it's so wonderful what you do, Mike. Okay, a middle-aged man who goes around pretending everybody he meets, even though he usually can't even speak the same language, is not only his new best friend, but is a beautiful soul based on half an hour of brief encounter. Now, I've lived in developing countries. It takes a long time to get to know people, particularly in developing countries, actually. And guess what? Their actual personality might be... I worked for a bloke who, West Indian fella, who had a little office and serviced some aircraft, and I was the island pilot of St. Kitts. And only kind of after 3 or 4 months did I kind of... One evening, I was just put the little aircraft away, I come in, and she was just a girl, Kathleen, 19, and she was there. It was dusk, and she was waiting for a lift. She worked in the office, and I was actually frightened of this guy, and but she was there, and I'd never spoken to her. She was so beautiful, little black girl, and but I felt almost like I kind of had an awareness that somebody would pick her up, and I sort of said, "Are you all right? Do you need a lift?" No, all I had was a little old motorbike, and she kind of hummed and hawed, and I knew what that meant. I knew that meant that the guy who has the business usually gives her a lift home, and she's required to open her legs before he goes to his family, to his wife. So I was like, when she said yes, okay, I don't know where he is tonight, because we had to go through the cane fields. St. Kitts was not at all developed, and I had Kathleen holding on to me, and it's like, oh my god, I'm in paradise. But maybe I've just signed my own death warrant if he decides to respond unpleasantly to me. Now, I'm sure he was a super smiley, lovely, helpful ethnic who, this bullshit version of people and travel that you have on the internet is truly, it is really scary. But it's a tyranny. It's more than a tyranny. It's Orwellian. It's actually basically fascist. It's like, you can see in the comments, there's this whole thing of you just go around spreading the love, giving the love to everybody. And you're not allowed to put in a counter viewpoint, which is, all these people that you say are just the most amazing human beings, you know nothing about. who they are. And it's so, I mean, like, for example, going around China. Now, I'm not going to get political, which is what everybody says. Oh, this is not political. Thank God. It's just about how lovely people are in Pakistan, Iran, China, etc. Even in China, it's astonishing. When you watch Mikey OK, or whatever he's called, there's hardly any women around. You know, I'm sorry. You know, I would travel around with my backpack and nothing much else North Africa 35 years ago. And it's every bloke you see, if you're wearing shorts in the middle of summer, stares at you. Some of them stare at you, obviously thinking they want to actually kill you. But, okay, you know, I reached the point 35 years ago. Fuck their Stone Age religion. But sorry, the bit that in this modern age must never be forgiven is, now, if Mikey OK or whoever else is going around Afghanistan, you know, we all know the Taliban have stopped women doing anything. But Pakistan too. There's hardly any women on the street. China, hardly any women. And yet, according to Mikey OK, you know, he's going around cultures where every single person that gives him a lift is a man. It would be impossible for, even in China, I guess, certainly Pakistan, and then some of your other stands around, it would be completely impossible for him stood there in the middle of nowhere with his thumb out for a woman to stop and pick him up, because their culture is a dinosaur culture. You know, I've lived in those places, or some of them, and plenty of blokes know 30 years ago, plenty of blokes there knew that women must have a completely equal place in society as any man. They knew it. I lived in the West Indies, which was really underdeveloped, a lot of it. But although it was quite backwards, most of the men kind of knew they've got to treat women now, and of course Christianity kind of ruled everything there, and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's not toxic positivity. It's a complete one-dimensional, we've got to be rah-rah version of everything. In other words, don't even have opinions. My opinion is this is very boring, this place.